US. $10,000.
Brazil!
Hey, Brazil! That's twice. You missed the first Brazil.
Yeah? Oh, well, wait, man. So, well, I mean, that was, unless you guys can remember anything
I
else.
remember something I was really inspired by.
Sure.
Engineers Without Borders. I always really had admired Doctors Without Borders, and you know, I would like to have some kind of a way to be activist.
Yes, and the curriculum.
That was cool too. Curriculum.
Actually, I think curriculum would be better.
I actually signed up. While we were sitting there, they talked about it. I signed up and even put my picture on there.
You were getting way through that first grade algebra.
Yeah. Which reminds me, this is slightly off topic, but needs to be said. What is the deal with the log on to the wireless network and you get, 45-minute wait, and then you get that big welcome to Sun.
Half of the welcome to Sun.
Half of the welcome to Sun.
It does say welcome to
JavaOne page, and then you can go use the internet. Like, not
Maybe.
necessarily.
That page open.
Yeah, you've got to keep the page.
Go-
If you go and use another app, then it just dies. Your connection dies. You've got to keep refreshing.
All right, so that's a first. They haven't done that before. Somebody go just corner and beat them.
Something like that, maybe.
I'm saying they have one Spark box sitting somewhere in a corner here at Moscone, taking all those proxy requests to show that little graphic file, and it's not compressed. And, whatever. It's something, yeah. Do that better.
So,
Sorry, so Kuriki was very cool.
Yeah.
And after I went through that, I signed up and made an account, so I was excited about that. And I want that guy's suit and his hat, that was cool.
and the Engineers Without Borders was the one you were.
Yeah.
This is.
I think it'd be good to get a little bit of an activist atmosphere into the engineering community. We don't really seem to have that. We have I remember 5 years ago, at least Sun used to be really involved with wiring up all the classrooms, but I guess we're done. I don't hear anything more about that. Right? Like, you don't hear about schools who are not on the internet. You know, they're emailing by printing out and mailing it.
Smoke signals.
Yeah.
So, anybody follow the TED conference, the TED Award? So, a couple years ago, Bono won the TED Prize, and he had 3 wishes. One of his wishes, which was sponsored by Sun, was to wire an entire African country with computers in all the classrooms, all the hospitals, all of everything. As far as I know, I don't know if it's done, but I know it was a wish, and he's Bono. But Sun was extremely involved in that. So hopefully that happened.
They probably picked a small country.
One country down, 200 to go.
Actually, there is a sort of a hacktivist organization called Geek Corps that has sort of similar ideals as the Geeks Sans Frontières. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, so I don't know if that would merge the organizations, but it is a kind of a proto-organization based on that. It's called Geek Corps.
Do you know what they do by any chance? I mean, do they help people with their blue screens?
Yeah, if you go to their website, I mean, when they initially started, they were shipping people like out to Africa to help set up labs. Of course, they don't have electricity in some places, so. But they were trying to do kind of build like sort of cottage technology industries there. So
it's very cool.
There was also a big movement during the Katrina thing. I was talking at a Web 2.0 conference, and one of the guys on the panel, and I completely suck at names and everything's a blur to me anyway, but a guy got really emotional and started talking about the volunteer work he was doing during Katrina. They went and got a bunch of different companies, different people together to build a Find Your Relatives database system and standardize a bunch of XML formats to send back and forth between hospitals and carriage places. Like all this, they just came together, came up with formats, standardized on them, and then everybody just donated time and energy and servers and stuff, and they built this whole network to help people locate people. That was pretty cool, and he started bawling on stage, and I was like, we were just talking about graphics, and I'm like,
But it's good because
a lot of that kind of stuff happens. It's cool to get it organized.
Well, it is because something like Katrina, that was in the news here. But I'm sure there's need all over the world, and maybe not quite as many engineers as you find in Silicon Valley. So.
Yeah, I think technology has reached the point where we can actually help people around the world. It's not just kind of a geeky little toy that we...
Without actually flying there. You can
or you can fly there.
SSH into their computer and help them with whatever problem
Yeah.
Actually, Carl, I'm just going to call out Carl here, is going with a group to
Bangalore.
to Bangalore, India, to put in some water treatment.
Water purifiers and help out in a school, little school.
So we have at least one good guy.
If you notice Carl isn't on like some of the podcasts coming up, that's very, very likely the reason. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about it.
I'll miss a couple probably.
Yeah. So,
Or maybe not. I probably have wireless.
there is some other news. We're not going to do a whole run through the quick news items. I think we'll have to have a quick news-a-thon after this or something to catch up
What else
on.
was announced in the keynotes? We have all the notes.
All right, let's take a look here.
Joe took notes for us.
Bob was talking about stuff knocking people's socks off.
Well, that was the world
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a whole thing about socks, which I kind of tuned into.
No, they're still on, but knock my shoes off.
Is this a carbon neutral podcast?
Oh yes, the carbon neutrality. That was actually a pretty cool thing that they were trying to make it.
Oh yes, accountability for carbons using
Yeah.
all the new, I guess, real-time devices, I would assume. The little embedded sort of thing. Is it embedded in real time?
That's for measuring the actual use of carbon. Was that the point of all
Not
that?
necessarily, yeah.
It can be, they don't have to be real time.
Right, there's also good purpose for real time on servers, right? If you want things to not go down and to respond. Like the NASDAQ thing, right? Yeah.
When I
But
hear
just-
sensor, I think real time. I guess
Some-
sensors don't have to be associated.
But to make it neutral, you actually have to produce to make up for the consumption, right? So when I flew to the Posse conference, when I ordered my tickets, there was a way to say, well, if you want to make your flight carbon neutral, just pay, I think it was $20 or something. And they will plant the tree on your behalf.
Really?
Yeah, TerraPass. I think it was something like Terra something. Anyone know what I'm talking about?
Never heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can do that. And I guess if you need to make something neutral, I guess you have to plant trees or something. And so I think that's what he was talking
A
about.
man educated on the topic.
No, so he was talking about the dollar per carbon. Something about per ton of carbon.
Free something.
It's not like he could go to the bank and say, "Here's $50, make me carbon neutral." I mean, someone has to actually do something for the
You
environment,
have to
right?
collect the carbon and put it back in the ground.
That's right. It's not like burning a 20 is going to do anything.
Actually, on that one,
Actually, it would make it
that does actually balance out there. He mentioned it's like 380 or something like that
Yeah.
per ton. And he said it's an order of magnitude off, which would be
Too small, like 50
$38
bucks,
or
100
something like
bucks, he
that.
was saying, yeah.
That seems kind of crazy. A ton of carbon waste in the atmosphere. We're kind of freaking out about everything melting and all of us dying in a fiery death. That number should be way higher. I think I'm just going to agree with him there. But I don't know what the number should be, and we need sensors. So go build those.
Actually, we've covered most of the big points from the keynotes. Maybe
we should just go to questions.
Well, there's at least one.
Were there any important news items?
There is at least one news item that we should mention.
Okay.
So, Oracle has kind of come out with a surprising development in that they seem to have at least dropped some of their insanity when it comes to numbering schemes.
No, that ruins
What are we going to talk about in this podcast?
They've announced the JDeveloper 11G preview.
No.
Don't you mean 11.0.0.0?
11.0.0.0.0.0.0.0G. We love Oracle's numbering, it's the best.
So I'd imagine if you go to the Oracle keynote, which is tomorrow morning, I believe, then I'm sure this will be demoed. It has a bunch of new stuff in it, but I certainly didn't know this was coming, and it's weird that they've just jumped this numbering rev right now. I mean, I
Maybe
can't
they listen to the
imagine.
podcast.
I don't know, yeah.
We have a lot of
But we did
fun
get that one
saying
email
yes.
from Larry.
Larry E.
Yeah, Larry E at Oracle. That's right. Stop taking the mickey out of our numbering system.
Strangely,
You made me cry the other day.
Cool. We should open up the questions. We have roughly 5 minutes before they boot us out of here with Monster Truck Force. And we all go get drinks somewhere because it costs $1,000 to get a keg in here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's just say that a little bit more slowly. So we're going to go somewhere to drink now. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to go out and have drinks. Y'all are welcome to come with us.
Are we going to go to the same place as last year?
Well, we tried to go to
Katie
the first
O'Brien.
last year, it was closed. We ended up next door at Katie O'Brien's, but just follow the hats. We're going to keep them on, and please,
Don't
see
steal
somebody
it.
steal a hat, tackle and kill.
This year it's glued to my head.
That's right. So go ahead, sorry.
Hi, I was just going to ask what everybody here in the audience thinks about this sort of non-call to action about the Blu-ray Java and stuff, and if anybody thinks there's any significance to that, because I'm kind of thinking like, well, whatever.
So actually, thank
we
you.
completely
That was
overlooked it.
another incredible,
Yeah.
incredible demo. I have a PS3. I've waited in line and all that good stuff. I love them. One of the things I'm most impressed by is, besides the games, is just the menu system on a Blu-ray disc. It's amazing. You're playing your HD content, you click the menu button, and stuff slides in while the movie's still playing, and it's all animated, and you can see clips on clips on clips. It's amazing. I didn't realize it was all Java. I thought it was just Java was available in there, but I guess they're all implemented in Java, and I'm gonna go play with it. I'm a graphics freak. I'm probably gonna make stuff. I don't know what it's gonna be. Probably not publicly consumable, but. But yeah, I thought that was amazing. How many people are gonna go try doing Blu-ray disc stuff? For sure. Come on.
He wants to borrow this.
You can come by and play. All right.
So I guess my question is about F3 or JavaFX script, which is a bad name considering there's already confusion about JavaScript and now we have FX script. But realistically, do you really see some carrying through with this promise of designers being able? I mean, we had this whole notion of JSP that the designer that you would have this division of roles between the designer and the programmer. The designer would generate the web page and then the programmer would just hook everything up, and it didn't seem like that really ever panned out. I mean, now we're going to have the same thing with JavaFX, and personally don't really see that happening. I mean, just the fact that they call it a family of products made me a little cynical, because it seems like whenever they say that, it's just like, they noticed Microsoft was coming out with this thing, and Flash is really popular, so in the last 2 months, they just gathered up all the products they had and called it JavaFX script. So, I mean,
I really want to make a comment.
What's that? Go ahead.
I really want to, just a comment on this. I think possibly the saving grace here, and please take this the right way, is that Java is now open source. So I think Sun's position in this sort of thing is to do a big push and say, hey, we've got a starter kit. We're going to start the cart rolling in this way that we think is very intelligent, helps the whole industry. And now that it's open source, all these different companies can jump on and play and help. I hope that happens.
People that know how to write tools for designers
Yeah,
can
it
generate.
doesn't have to be NetBeans. I'm sure they'll do a good one.
Yeah, but designers don't like trying out 10 different IDEs as programmers do. I mean,
I don't think
it takes
IDE
a
is
person-
necessarily what the content developers would be using.
Right. But
So
my
if you
point
look at
is-
something like Flash, I mean, I imagine that a lot of the content that you see in some of the JavaFX apps, they're animations done in Photoshop. And then if this development tool could read, a layered Photoshop file, and then the developer would take that, and so the designer just keeps working on these Photoshop files and saves them and sends updates. The developer just needs to keep these files in sync and do the interaction design. I don't think that anyone would be pulling up NetBeans if you're just a graphic designer.
I don't mean IDEs, I just mean that, having all these other people designing the tools, it takes a person a long time to learn Flash. So, to learn the Flash IDE or editor or designer, so, just with the,
No, I think clearly it's going to take some investment on your part to develop for this platform, but I think the value proposition is that it's on so many devices that you would want to. Flash doesn't really run on cell phones.
Go start a company and build that.
okay.
Yeah. Opportunity.
Opportunity.
Have we got time for another one?
Yeah, we should just check with the back. Is there anybody after us? Can we go a few more minutes? Are you guys dying to get home, or are you going to come with us and have a beer? I'm asking the man in the back. Right hand means keep going, left hand means get out. Yes.
Love the pod. Oh, sorry. Love the podcast, guys. Great job.
Thanks. We love
My question is primarily for Dick. It's just wondering, when you're combing for news stories, what are some of your favorite sites?
Actually, You know, I should probably put an article up about this because I get this question a lot. So I use Google Reader and I feed in probably a couple of dozen different feeds through it. It's become quite an art trying to catch all the different stories in the net. And literally my ride into work every morning is to sit on the bus, which fortunately has Wi-Fi, the shuttle.
And leather seats.
It's a pretty...
and Wi-Fi. It's like from his house, basically.
In a wet bar.
Oh, and did I mention it's free?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not trying to play this for sympathy in any way, but it does basically...
Google's hiring too, by the way.
Yeah. My commute is mostly taken up with scanning these news items, and I go through and I try. These days, I've got to the point where I try and eliminate every single one as soon as I see it, and I really try to only keep the ones that stick out and kind of scream, talk about me. And a good indication of that is a story that's important will usually show up at least 4 or 5 times throughout the filters that I've got set up. So,
but are there 2 or 3 big sites that come up over and over again?
I think I probably hit stories from all 20, 25 of these sites. To be honest, with the way I kind of glom them together in Reader, I don't even know which sites some of these come from sometimes. I have at least one very free-form search which goes out and searches for keywords and shoves the results through an RSS feed into the...
I've started using blog search like google.com. So you can search for things you're interested in, and then you can actually export that as a blog feed. And so now I just subscribe to that. And so whenever there's new blogs that are talking about something I care about, I get to see it. And that's really handy because there's a lot of times, there's not, there's a lot of blog readers that read regularly. But there's a lot of people that are just, generally not talking about stuff I care about, but every now and then they have something, and that's quite handy.
When I start talking, Tor usually just starts to code. That's pretty much how it works.
I think what I will do, because none of this stuff is particularly secret, if you guys want to know my news feeds and you have the patience to comb through the news every day, then I'll just...
You're going to give away the crown jewels.
No, not really. I'll just publish the OPML.
Stop listening.
Don't let them just read it.
What do we do? Our value is to do this for them. So they don't have to do it when they're on their commute.
Okay, so this side, and have them do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, going back to the kind of the social responsibility or activism and all that. One thing I kind of appreciated was the gentleman from the UN, I would say, kind of called us out today. And that's the first time I've heard that over going to all these developer conferences over the years. And it's always been kind of lifting us up. But we really seem to be a pretty superior, attitude kind of group. We can have this high view of ourselves. And I'm wondering, do you think that we can, developers can really make much of a difference? And if so, do you think that they should be called out more, that they should really be called to account for how they spend their time?
I think you can. I think, I'm not sure what they're going to do with it. I know this curricula thing, I didn't fully understand what it was other than getting a bunch of developers together. Maybe it will be a place where they need something done. They'll do a call out, like we need this sort of stuff. Who's interested? And that's what I'm hoping it is.
Well, that particular site, I think, was focused towards putting together, K through 12.
Those are two different things. Those are two different things.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope so. I think it'd be cool to have a site that professional people that care can log into, and if there is a need, there's a call out, hey, we're starting an open source thing to solve this problem. Donate some time and hours and energy and go solve it. And I'm thinking about the story I heard about the Katrina app. We need if there was a place you could log in and formally be available for something like that.
Yeah, at a much higher level, I absolutely believe that a single developer or a single person can absolutely make huge differences to things. Someone in the right place at the right time can make all the difference in the world.
And especially if there's hundreds of people backing them up, sitting in their house, coding and with open source stuff.
Yeah.
And for one more?
Yeah.
I actually just wanted to make an announcement. I thought about phrasing this as a question, and then I decided it sounded a little snarky. But Glossitope, the desktop widget system for Java, is having a developer competition. If you go to Glossitope, glossitope.org, developer information is there. We're having a BOF Thursday night in this room at this time, where we're going to vote on the best ones, and the top 3 get t-shirts.
All right, that wasn't a question, so we can fit one more.
Yeah.
I noticed that the main talk here and most of the technical presentations, a lot of people have Macs. And I was wondering, we can do a quick poll. How many people have Macs here who develop on Mac?
Okay. Wow, that's
more than 10% of whatever the market share is.
That's probably half the room. So.
Thank you.
All right, I think we're really out of time.
Yeah. If you
Can I just, I know you plugged it at the beginning, but I just want everybody to know, I'm here from the Silicon Valley Web Developer Jug. Our meeting next week in Mountain View. Not only will these guys be here, we're going to have beer and pizza, thanks to Atlassian. So you actually be with the Posse and have beer with the Posse. And also, JetBrains is donating 2 licenses to IDEA that we'll be raffling off. So, if you have any friends in Silicon Valley, let them know about it. And there's flyers at the back.
All right. Thank you all for coming.
Everyone for coming.
Hi, this is Peter Pilgrim at the JavaOne Worldwide Developer Conference in 2007. We've just had episode 120 of the Java Posse. Enjoy this one, especially from me. This is the conference center. All heading off to the pub now. We're just leaving JavaOne, the Moscone Center, to head with the Java Posse to the pub. I don't know what pub we're going to, but it's going to be really good. This is fantastic. What you're seeing now is the bean bags of the main video screen, and this is as we go down into the Moscone Center. To the right, to the left of me is the pavilion where you can go and see the exhibition, which is apparently closed until 11:30. And all the way down here on this lower floor is all the sessions. The Birds of the Pebble are also held here. So follow me around and we'll see the JavaOne conference from my eyes. So right there, you can see the Java card, and this is like a small credit card with a microchip inside it. And if you want to get into a session, you have to queue up and pass yourself through the security. So you need to have registered with the schedule builder to get into a session. So follow me into the accessory store, where you can buy all your Java accessories. Over here you've got a couple of water bottles for the gym, a couple of coffee holders and stuff. You can buy your t-shirts. Oh, that's a nice one. That's a Dutch one, obviously, nice and orange. And they're going like hotcakes. Look at that, a nice little hooded top. So in here, down here you can see, excuse me, all these pens here, all these other accessories. You can get jelly beans. There's a pen made in Italy down under there. I think that's that one there, the Liber Supposi. You can get notebooks and stuff. You can see here, quickly, see special USB mouse, USB hub there. Even a pen knife. Probably can't take that on the plane with you. Pack that in a suitcase if you're buying a pen knife. What else? You can buy Java bags if you haven't got a Java bag already. And of course there's proverbial t-shirts and stuff. So this is JavaOne's accessory bookstore. Okay, these are the computers. If you want to see what you're doing next in a session, you put your Java card and insert it. So this is my Java card. I will insert that into the computer. Wrong way, right? Wrong way. Insert it the right way. And then we get a login. Very cool. I believe it's supposed to save your session state as well, but I think it's just got your login information, gives you access. I think this is running Solaris. Yes. The keyboard is still the same rubbishy Sun keyboard from the old Pizza Bot days. Okay, I'm online now. Right, so now if I click on the web browser icon, that will open up the browser and get me onto the schedule builder, where you can see the sessions that you applied for. So now as I click on session builder, this machine is so slow. I gotta log in first. So I'll do that. So now let's log in to the schedule